and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the heart of South Sudan. Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for this.
You'll do the backup.
Yes. Might be expert there. Because this one does not that we are actually reviewing.
Actually. Hello, welcome to Around South Sudan, your trusted source for the latest updates on South Sudan's governance, economy, and legal frameworks. My name is Lasuba Memo, the program host. In today's episode, we are looking at the country's tax system. Now, the Commissioner General of the South Sudan Revenue Authority, Simon Akweiteng, has called for a review of South Sudan's tax and customs laws to ensure a more unified and efficient tax system in the country. And at the heart of his message, he said there is need to clarify which taxes should be handled by the national government versus the state governments. Now, this, he argues, is essential to ensure the burden on business, reduce illegal fees, and also prevent double taxation. Now, we explore Akwe's call for a new tax harmonization act, the ongoing challenges businesses face, and the plans to introduce electronic receipts to make the process more efficient. Then the Ministry of Finance has announced the April 2025 salaries that have been successfully processed and now ready for payment. And if you're a civil servant, you can confirm that to us by checking on our Facebook page. Now, this marks a significant step forward after nearly a year of delayed payments due to the country's economic challenges. We will get deeper into government's commitment to ensuring timely salary payments, the impact of the oil shutdown, and how this aligns with the promises made earlier this year. I am glad to be joined by the Chief Executive Officer of iMedia, Stephen Omire, just seated next to my right side, and Station Manager Kongpal Chang, a seasoned commentator and an analyst and a businessman. Kwaje James, right there, adjacent to the Chief Executive Officer of iMedia, and he's a businessman. And looking at these taxes, he's going to explore and give us actually first-hand experience from his business in South Sudan. I also learned the CEO also does some retail business in the country. So I'm really very lucky to have the guests who also have a taste of the business environment in South Sudan. Kong and I have nothing. We don't do business. So but well, we have some experience from what people say, and I'm sure he has a perspective on how we can improve.
I'll try a business. I will talk about it.
All of you are welcome aboard.
Thank you, Lasuba.
So let's look at this. Akwe is calling for the review of the Taxation Act, which was actually enacted in 2009. That was prior to South Sudan's independence in 2011. I went through this act, and when I read, even some of the wordings have not been changed. Like, for instance, when we get independent, the word remains Southern Sudan as prior to that. And what we have learned with the in line with the peace agreement, it's supposed to be amended, and it's still under due process. And now this is a call that this should be reviewed so that it addresses issues related to taxation in the country to ensure it is more efficient. And let me first start with Stephen Omire. What is your take with these concerns raised by the boss of the South Sudan Revenue Authority?
Thank you so much, Lasuba Memo, and I really want to appreciate my colleagues to be here. First, let me say it's a good topic to speak about or to speak on, because I am a certified public accountant. I I understand taxes, I understand auditing, I understand financial management, I understand that's what I studied. So it's a good topic to talk about.
Absolutely.
Generally as a certified public accountant. But first allow me to also to acknowledge or to appreciate Commissioner General Simon Akweideng, a friend of somebody that I know very well, very well. He's young, a very young man, a vibrant business person, and he's not a politician. He's purely more of a technocrat. And I think His Excellency the President has good job by appointing a young man who understands business and also who is not a politician. So whatever he discusses is not politics.
You also understand how taxes are.
Exactly. Whatever he discusses is not a politics. It's things that are in the interest of the country. So I want to thank him because since he came in, he has done a very, very excellent job. Take for example, a month ago he was on our radio here and he said what? He said 3 months ago they set a target for themselves. Because you see, when you want to succeed, you put goal and target for yourself to see whether you are meeting your target or not. And he said what? They have set a target of around 92 billion to raise within South Sudanese pound to raise. And they have raised what? They raised 132.6 billion. They have surpassed that. And that tells you that they have a mission to achieve for this country. He also said in the next 6 months, they've also set for themselves what? Over 200 billion. South Sudanese pound to raise. So it tells you that Simon Akwe is speaking from a point of moving the country taxation system forward. So on his call for the taxation reform, especially the acts, the amendment of the acts and coming with the new law, I was really, really shocked. For the first time I was shocked that it is shocking that South Sudan do not have what? Do not have law that define which tax should be collected by the national government, which tax should be collected by the states, and which tax should be collected by the local government. I was shocked, generally, because it appeared from the speech of Simon Akwe, there's a confusion. There's no tax harmonization policy or acts that is in place. And that's why today the prices of goods are high. And the cost of living is very high because of the double taxation. You can even call it triple taxation. You are taxed at the border when you bring good outside, because South Sudan depend on goods that are from outside. Right. They are imported. So when you come, you are taxed by the national government at the border. You are taxed. That is the right way to do the business. When you come here, you are taxed again by the states. And when you are selling goods, you are also taxed by the local government. The same good taxed 3 times by 3 entities. That tell you that a consumer becomes the victim because in most cases...
Let alone the petty fees that...
Exactly. In most cases, a person who is selling will want first to recover how much money he spent to buy that item. So if I bought this cloth or this suit, and I'm selling suit, and I bought the suit at $100, and you have charged me $10 at the border, and you're charging me $5 here, and also charging me another $1, I will now have how many dollars? I will add them, so the price will go to $100 and something. Now I want to sell it at a profit because I'm not in the business of charity. I'm not in the business to please people. I want to make a profit because I want to improve my life. So I will also add my profit plus the money that I am being overtaxed, and then I push it to the person who is going to buy the suit.
And what is your view as a business or retailer? And I know you probably encountered these taxes that I just mentioned, multiple of them. And what was it like as a businessman? Was it really easy going about these taxes? And did you find any success in what you're doing?
Number one, let me just appreciate the commissioner. You know, he brought something which is very, very important. And, you know, that is all about the double or triple taxation. And if you are in the market, that is when you can now be able to realize that, you know, most of the people are really overtaxed. You know, there is that triple, or, you know, because right now you have the NRA, which is the, you know, National Revenue Authority. Then you have the, like in Juba, you have also the SRA, that is the State Revenue Authority. So the NRA is taxing you on the other side. State revenue is also taxing you on this side. Then you see the city council also coming in between. Then you see also at the same time, there are other arms of the government that are coming in. And if you see the amount of money that they are picking from here, there, and all that.
Is your business running, or you have closed it?
I've closed. I've closed because it is just like I'm now working for taxes, and at the end of the day, it is just like I'm dipping my hands deeper into my pocket even, so that I can be able to sustain the business. So you have rent here.
Somebody want to know what business were you doing?
It is a stationery. I strongly believe in by then selling books and stationery items, so that I can be able to sell books to the students, pens and all that. But the amount of money that you pay as taxes is basically beyond, because somebody comes and just sees the shop. It's a small shop. He sees, then he just values that, look, here you just have to pay this amount of money.
So you're in agreement with the SSRA boss?
Absolutely. Yeah, because that is basically the way to go. We have to sit, and if like the state revenue authority has to know exactly they are supposed to collect ABC, then the NRA also is supposed to collect ABC. Then if all these ones are categorized, and if also we can be able to know, like within the state, businesses are divided up, they are not all the same. So you have small, you have medium, you have a large business. So, the small one, how much are you supposed to pay? Then, at the moment, somebody comes, just assesses, gives you, then you start arguing around here. Then at the end, you pay whatever you can.
You may decide just to punish you.
Exactly. Yeah. At times I just feel like, hey, look, are they doing it intentionally? They just want to throw me out of business. Then, then they'll say, no.
It looks very deliberate.
Yeah. At times you just feel like that.
Kong, you and I are 100% consumers.
Yeah.
What is your take?
Yeah, my take is I listened to the audio, the speech of Commissioner General, and I picked one thing there, and he said, we cannot have this reform of the law or seeing the way forward, that we cannot have Commissioner Generals at the state and at the same time at the national. Like he said, at central with Central Korea government, they have Commissioner General. And he's saying like we should have one Commissioner General. And I think it goes back to me, things will go back to, like he's suggesting, how we can
harmonize.
How we can, what tax should we collect and how do we do it? And it goes back to to lawmakers, and also to the question of the peace agreement which we are in now, where we are working on our constitution. So that constitution should define, by the way, people now should learn from the kind of federalism we are in now, because this is the cause of decentralized system we are in, where even in the government system, where you have the president at the state, you have the governor, and governor also has ministers. You have minister of information at national. In other all 10 states, you have ministers of information. In other administrative area, all which we could have maybe in those areas directors instead of ministers, because we have limited resources. So I think his proposal is good. I think people will look forward to that, how things will move forward, because it's good. You collect this money and put it in one account, and then now distribute them, whether they come through Narus or Numili, or maybe they are generated within here, or wherever they are collected. You have taxmen across South Sudan. That should report to national office, where now the money now can be delivered or saved in the government account. Then now government will see according to the budget, allocation of budget that was approved, or that is approved by the parliament. And this should be the way going forward, because the other day there was a meeting where governor of Eastern Equatorial State, Luis, complained, said he was being questioned Where is the money from the gold? Where is the money from the border you are collecting? Because he's the one also, his state also collect from Numili. His state also collect from so many border points. He has, I think, Eastern Equatorial State is known for gold mining. So people are asking during that meeting, because it's a meeting between the governors and also how to collect revenues, local revenues and also national. So he was telling people, look, there's nothing. If you think that this money, even the certificates, if you have a company, you want to go and mine gold in Eastern Equatoria, you don't get your certificate from the state. You pay it from national here. So he said people should not assume that because I'm a governor of this state where the gold is mined, it does not mean that I issue those documents. We have a national government that is issuing the document. And he's even said there is no large-scale mining that is happening. He said, Arsenal, this is you and me. We go and get some place, ask the community, we want to mine here. We mine our gold, we get a small kilo, we go back to town. That's how he described the majority, but the large-scale mining is not there, where you can now tax this company. So those are the things that we need to state in that sense, yes. But actually, they talk about PIT, personal income tax. Some of them collect them, some of them are collected from here. And also, this is a question that I can throw to our people. Who knows who is paying taxi as we speak? I know many people are paying taxi. But do they have actually what they call the tax, individual tax number or something like that? Who has it? How many are paying tax? So those are the things we need to know. The other thing I need to add also, that's just for civic education. People outside there, and this is what maybe we need our viewers or our people to know, that the government has a system. People believe that once the revenue is collected, even when they say we exceeded the projection, and then people are happy, okay, why the money is not coming to us, we, the civil servant, why are we not paid? It's not the work of revenue authority to pay people. They collect the money, they are just hired by the government, they are employed by the government to collect money, put them in account. Now, how they reach to you as a civil servant, it's not their work. If your salary is not coming, ask your MP, because these are MPs who are oversight.
We'll talk about salaries later.
Yes.
And so what we're saying here is the improper law is to blame for the confusion between the state and the national government. As you've mentioned that, this quite often appears in Governors Forum and many other government conferences. And there were occasions where the governors call for what we call a formula that will also ensure that they get their rights out of the taxes. And this has been the confusion. Now, if you look at Chapter 17 of the Taxation Act and the mandate of the Ministry of Finance and Planning, you see, it mandates the Undersecretary and the Director of Taxation to only what we call to table, hear, listen, and then consider and agree with the state on the rates. That is where I find that only that point that discusses that, meaning there is no formula and there is no system for the collection of taxes. So it has to be based on consensus between the state and the national government. So
and that is dangerous, Lasuba, and that is what you mentioned before we came on air. You said that it come clear to you that the government they have not been really thinking about taxation, because at the point of independence, there was this oil money coming in, and everybody was excited about oil money, and then the taxes were ignored. They were seen as a necessary thing, and when everything got into trouble, we are now trying to gobble around, running around to collect taxes, because people have gone for many years without a year without salary. So if you go to other countries, and we know the problem, and why I'm always very concerned is South Sudan should not have made mistakes. because we got our independence late. We have countries who have now got independent before us, and immediately we got our independence, would have just benchmark. We are not inventing anything new. We have Uganda near us here. We have Kenya near us here. Kenya has also like a petrol system. Uganda does not have a federal system, but Kenya has it. Because if we have not adopted the federal system, we would have just gone to Kenya and see how do you share the revenue. But the parliament is sleeping up to today. If we don't have a clear, the parliament is sleeping, generally. Because up to today, I don't know whether there's the government is bringing in bills to reform the taxation system, or whether there's a private bill that has come from a private member. This thing is not coming because even the parliament is not open. It's a closed parliament. Every time you go there, you pull around here, why are you having camera and all the things? Because things are not done in a manner that is quite transparent. So we actually made a mistake as a country that we did not benchmark with the country that got independent before us and not to repeat mistakes that we are doing today. But thank God that we have right people in the right places currently. As I said earlier, Simon Akwe is the right person in the right place. We also have another person now who is the Vice President for Economic Affairs, Economics Cluster. And he made a statement to public statement that from this date on 24th of every month, salary will be paid. We are seeing that being paid. Whether the money is not going to people, they are doing their part. They are sending money to the bank account. They are giving orders that please pay the money. So if it is not being paid, it is up to those institutions to be held accountable. But generally, the people who have been receiving their money. And you know the beauty of people being paid, because we are going to talk about it. But the beauty of having good policy in place, you create predictability. And when there is a predictability, there's a stability in thinking and your planning. And when you have those predictability and planning, you know you are sure that even tomorrow you are guaranteed to succeed because you are moving forward in a way that you can actually go to somebody and borrow money. That because somebody knows on 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, in that week, you'll be able to get your salary. So somebody can lend you money and to go, because you are going to pay tomorrow.
So what constitutes a good taxation policy?
Again, you need to define the system, which type of system are you running in your country. And also you need to define what is the wealth of your nation. Because now, it is only NGOs that are paying taxes, my friend. Since I started working, NGOs, since I started working, I, Stephen Omiri, have been paying PIT for the rest of my life. Every month I pay PIT to the government. Also, there's this segregation that is happening here. UN employees don't pay. I'm told that there's all exempted. They're exempted. No, there's nothing of that nature. You know, tax is somebody said.
Even a
there are two things that you are sure of. One of them is death. The second is tax. You have to pay the tax because it's a mandatory. It has to be paid because government has to do development. A government has to deliver services. They have to build hospitals. They have to build roads. They have to do this. Where will the government get if? So you have to do this. So these two things are very important. So nobody should be exempted from paying taxes. Whether you work for UN or what, you should pay taxes because PIT is a must to be paid. So it is time now for our government. And it's time that they listen to people who are professionals, like those of Simon Akwe, to ensure that we come with laws that are going to facilitate good tax system. And if that is in place, then we are going to move this country forward.
So what should be done? Because especially to ensure accountability and transparency in taxation system, what Akwe is trying to allude to, since we have never had anybody being punished for tax evasion or anything, we have never seen really action being taken to help, to hold people accountable. So what is your take?
You know, Simon Akwe said it himself during yesterday that this must be done to make sure that we have money. And even if he said, some of you, he said he knows them, even he recognizes their faces. Yeah. That some of them forge the documents, some of them want to evade tax, but he forgive them. And to me, I think when you are starting reforms, when you are doing reforms, you don't need to go with the hammer hitting anyone. with it. People need to be educated. Although they say there is no ignorance in law. When they say this is a law, you don't say I was not informed that like what we do when we drive on the road, and then you don't have fire extinguisher in your car, and you say I didn't know. They say it is not there. But it's a law, it's a requirement. So although you are required to pay tax or to follow, don't forge, don't do this, he warned them. He warned them. So I think he's the right guy.
Probably because of the loophole in the law.
For the time that the president has given him this time to work, he will do his part. The next person will pick it from where he will stop. That is how a country progressed. You cannot do it overnight. Today, he's talking about digital remittance, okay? Yeah, like you pay through digital, through in bank, then system, that the digital system. And he said soon it's going to be 90%. He also talked about places that has no banks. There's no problem. You can go with your box full of money and hand over to the tax man. But he said that thing has to be avoided. Because now, look, your salary has not come and you are a tax man, and you know, Kong came with who is running a hotel, came with a box full of dollars or a pound. What will you do? What will you do with that money? You have no salary. You are not being paid. What will you do? So this money has to go through to be sent to banks. Yeah. Those places that have no bank, I think they are going to work. So it's a work in a progress. This reforms slowly. We pray that he continue with that phase and still make sure that he work with all his team also, because I believe he's not alone. He's a team leader, but also people around him also are listening to him. Let's do this, because if people don't listen to the leader also, it's always chaotic. So I think reforms start now as he did it, and we believe that gradually thing will improve. The
2009 Act, when I read under that section 109 and 10, it talked about forms. It did not talk about digital. Yeah. It tells you where we have actually started from. Yeah. And then that taxpayers will have to have numbers cut. Yeah. So now we're moving to digital. Yeah. What was your experience, Kwaji? Yeah. Did they introduce you with a cut?
with the card?
How were you paying to your tax?
No, just cash. Okay. Yeah, we had been paying cash. So, you know,
and
you
those
go, you carry.
Were they taking that money to account? It's none of your business.
Yeah, it is, of course. At the end of the day, it is just none of your business. Because they have come. At times, you know, at times you can be able to go and pay there. At times, you know, people will come now, like the ones that are collecting from shop to shop. You have seen them. You know, one policeman and maybe 2 or 3 people, one with a bag, then collecting just money from here and there and all that. So that is why, you know, it is very, very important to pay tax, okay? Because the country can only develop when we are paying taxes. And, you know, the more we pay, the richer actually the government becomes. Yeah. Then the government now can be able to pay, to give that money back in terms of services, in terms of salaries. And that is how it should be. So what we are just asking is, you know, let us pay something reasonable, and all that should go to the government coffers, so that the government can now be able to realize that the whole of that money that is being collected. And if the government is able to realize all the money that is being collected, let me tell you, you know, all, you know, and everyone can be able to see the, you know, the services that the government is giving.
And I think also when citizens begin saying services, they will
be willing to pay taxes.
They will actually be willing.
The willingness will be there.
Let me give you a story about myself. Sorry to cut this short.
Yes, okay.
But some years back, because I'm also used to be a businessman, I'm still a business person. But some years back, when before the conflict, I went to Equity Bank and with a business plan. And as Equity Bank, I don't have money, but I want to set up a business. I think by then he was with me. Yeah. And I got a loan of $8,000. I started a business along Bill from Road. There was a container, I cleared the place. I was using my car to buy, you know, some of these goods. And within 4 months, I was able to pay back the $8,000 to the Equity Bank. By then the tax system was not that very strong because there was too much dollars money in the hand, so people did not care about other people's taxes. But then recently in 2021, I set up a business here in Facebook. I used to sell suits, designer suit, designer clothes, designer shirt. I import them from China, Turkey. And can I tell you, my friend, I closed that business. First, the landlord wants you to pay 6 months in advance rent. 6 months in advance. So where do you get 6 months? Which country is like that? 6 months you must pay it, and it has to be in dollars. Second, somebody will come after 2 weeks, Galfi Wasaka. You look around, get 200,000, 400,000, he want money for Wasaka. Now there is no dustbin to put Wasaka. There's no much Wasaka.
Juba City Council.
Juba City Council. Then they will come. They always come and say, these are nice clothes, nice shoes. Then they look around and they say, taxation. Takdir la ulwana ganama takdir shop there. Ite mungtar fakede. When you argue with them, they close they put the padlock. They put the padlock. This is what is happening in this country. I sold my clothes. I sold them at the throwaway price because I could not. That's why today most of the people who are here running business in this country are foreigners, because they are giving. One came through another general, the other one is giving payback. They are not paying taxes. Trust me, these people don't pay taxes. But us who are the citizen, our people actually hate us more than even they hate the foreigners. I can tell you for free, as a business person and somebody who's running a business, I was tortured by the state and city council. So that is, look at the situation that we are in as a country. Sad.
And on a good note, we are saying Simon Akwe trying to make changes and to ensure that really the system is efficient and to ensure it is fair enough for all the citizens in the country, and a very clear system where probably we won't be seeing these multiple taxes, and that is the goal that is doing. But you have quite praised him for really trying to bring about these changes. So what have you seen as some of the measurable achievements that he have so far over this time is in office?
Today you see government is paying salaries when there is no oil coming in the country. We must give credit to the revenue authority, because if revenue authority is saying they are raising
300
over 100, and in the recent budget we are told how much is the salaries, how many billion is there in our
8 billion or
around 84 billion.
Yeah.
Around 84 billion were the total salary. These guys per month. These guys are making in 3 months 132 billion.
So salary is taken care of.
So it does not matter the other sources, because it's not, we still have small oil, the money that comes from the oil. So there is money in the country to be able to pay, and it's because of the taxation. So that's one achievement that Simon Akwe has done. When he came in is when the Vice President for Economic Affairs made also a declaration. And since both of them come from the business background, they know the benefit of an employee. That for business to be successful, the employer must be satisfied, because it is the employer that perform the work, not you as the owner of the business. So when you pay people their salaries, they will be able now to deliver services. So that's one achievement Simon is saying is doing. He's not talking about the tax reforms, because that's what he's doing currently. So there's another major achievement. He's also brought sanity. Our president did make a pronouncement that we must have money should be, talk about the account.
Should be single
account. They are implementing it now. Money now is being deposited directly into the account. And when money goes into the account, it is easy for you to know who withdrew the money. How money was wired to which account. It's easy to trace the money, because bank can be held accountable by the law. So putting money, so that's another achievement that Simon Akwe has done. So we must actually appreciate individuals who are doing right. Somebody wrote here on our Facebook when we posted the story today. And let me look at what the person wrote. He said, it's called Ochola Patrick's Umomo. And he said, the only people working very hard in this country are Dr. Bolmel, Dr. Benjamin Bolmel, and NRA Commissioner, Minister of Finance, and Central Bank Governor.
South Sudan
That is his observation.
Bureau of Standards.
That is his observation. But that tells you also that the individuals outside there who are appreciating the work of other people. Because sometimes we South Sudan tend to be very negative. And imagine, let me tell you, if you are very negative about your leader all the time, you are attacking your leader even become timid or immune. And he say, Kalas, nal dinum zat. Forget my language. He can decide to say, to hell with you. You are not appreciating the leader I'm doing, so you go. Because you are bullying your leader, you are attacking your leader. But sometimes you can also acknowledge the mistakes, but also appreciate the good work. Because that's the only way you motivate people. Some of us who are leaders, sometimes we are harsh. But sometimes we acknowledge the good work you are doing, because you are the implementer of what we are doing. We cannot do all the things. Without you, we cannot achieve what we are doing.
Right. So
let me come in I think you may talk about also what are things that need to be done.
Right.
Because with the good thing they are doing, especially the Revenue Authority, I think I want to pick it from the challenge that's happening in the country, and I want to pick it from one of our caller the morning, where he's called Emmanuel. He said, look, yes, you are going to pay salary, there's no problem with that, but here is we the producer, the farmers. Also make sure also you provide that conducive environment where we will go to our farms. Because according to him, he said, this day you go to your farm, but you leave early. And you leave unfinished job because of insecurity. You cannot stay in your farm. You go and do some small work, you come back because you are scared. The question is can you create that conducive environment for them? And this, because let me go back to what John Garang said once. And I think Stephen almost said it, that, or Steve, or Kwaje, that if like, I think Kwaje, he said, if you are paying tax, your government will be rich. Yeah?
Right.
John Garang say, there is no rich government when his citizens are poor, when Chafu Fakir or something like that.
Yeah.
So how do you make your citizen rich so that when they are rich, they are able to pay tax? Let them farm. I saw stories we are running. They are distributing those tractors to farmers. The more they produce more food, I mean, people will be able to sustain themselves. We will grow our own food. And this food, these people will be paying what? Tax to the government. When we have more money, then the government get more money. So it's good also for Stephen and Kwaje to go back to the market. Okay? They need to create that environment where Stephen also can go back to the market and pay tax. From his salary, pay tax. But if he open business, I think there should be that opportunity given to young South Sudanese who are doing business, entrepreneurs. Create that environment so that they also make money. Like he took a loan, in 4 months, he returned the loan because the environment was really good. So these are the things also that should be looked into as a way forward to how do you make people pay tax, create that environment.
Right.
That's what I'm at.
So what kind of legal frameworks are needed now to close the gaps? You've mentioned some of these to ensure there is no confusion around tax collection and between the states and the national government. And if you can emphasize it, what kind of those provisions that are really needed to be really outstanding and clear and define actually the mandates of the state and national government, and also define what type of taxes that each state should be collecting and not the national government, and what the national government should be collecting, not the state government, looking at the opportunities we have in the country. James Kwaje.
Yeah, I think that the most important is just to avoid what we are calling double taxation or triple taxation, because we already know, like, the taxes are being collected by NRA. So then what should we do? you know, what should we give the state? So there are some other things that, you know, the state is also collecting here and there. Now, like the ground rate, okay, a ground rate or the ground rate normally, like if you have a shop and you are paying, say, you know, 500,000 or 1 million as rent, so per month, then you have to pay the state 1 month rent. That is per every year. So it is just a matter of sitting down. Then we say, okay, these are the taxes that are being collected by the government. I mean by NRA, and these are the ones that, you know, the state now can be able to collect in a way that, you know, cannot be able to drag the business person down. Because what we are looking at is, look, when you look at the majority of the people here are the youth, comprised of almost like 70% of the population. So if the youth are more, then at least we have to create for them jobs. The government cannot be able to absorb all the youth, okay? You know, cannot be able to absorb all the youth. So it is the private sector that now can be able to absorb the youth in all these areas. That is why you are hearing of, you know, now you are saying 104 tractors are coming. So this will take a certain portion of the youth into the agricultural sector. So now the rainy season you know, is starting. So and the tractors came as timely. Okay, if used properly, then we can be able to, you know, we can be able to have that issue of food security at least covered. We can be able to have local foods that are coming within, without the aflatoxin that you are talking about. Okay, so all this. So it is just like a matter of, now we just need to sit down and find out, okay, the tractors are coming. How are we going to use these tractors effectively? Okay, so the best is, to me, I would say, okay, let people maybe come up with cooperative societies like in the past, put them in groups. Then if this is a village and they have their own cooperative society, one tractor is there or two tractors are there, then, you know, the villagers, the people around can be able to hire. Okay? Can be able to hire at a certain amount, okay? Because you know very well, you know, they don't have enough money, but at a certain amount that, you know, at least they can be able to plow, you know, something both for subsistence that they can be able to eat, and another one, the surplus now they can be able to take to the markets. And through doing so, then definitely you will see the majority of the, you know, youth in the villages and the rest, now they will be preoccupied, okay, with the work. And once they are preoccupied with the work, they will never think of conflict, they will never think of other things. So we just want to see how we can be able to put the youth in the agricultural sector, just like what the vice president, you know, has already arranged. Then at the same time, how we can be able to put them back in the businesses, so that they also can be able to compete with the other, you know, with the other foreigners around in the businesses. And the more we are doing that, then the more we are really helping the nation.
You wanted to add something?
Lasiba, you asked a good question. Let me read a comment from our somebody who is watching. It's called Akao Anyot, and he's saying I think it's from Jonglei State, and he's saying taxes are not understandable in this country, simply because every government institution is collecting taxes for its own expenditure. The fish exporters paying taxes to NRA, National Ministry of Fishery, Jonglei State is also, they are also paying the taxes to another ministry in the state. SSPDFs on the roads, along Juba roads, highway are also collecting this. And also saying at this juncture, the business are being overtaxed, and it is going to discourage them from exporting fish. He say export tax is 18% on any consignment going out of the country. So we tell you why Simon Akwe, the Commissioner General, is asking for clear demarcations of taxes, so that we don't have these overburdens that is being done by individuals who are trying their best. First, to build their life. Second, to contribute to the economy of the country. But again, it ending up that some individuals are benefiting from individuals who are working very hard. You know, you spend a lot of your times in that heat, inside the waters, looking for fish, and there are others who are seated outside, and they want to eat from your sweat. Now, if there's a law in place, if there's a taxation law in place that defines the demarcation who to be given what,
right,
this individual will improve their life and the government will also prosper. So it is important that why we need a good tax laws in this country.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I wanted to add something. I think the guy who just read his message was something I was to talk about.
Okay.
This is called. I want to talk about Common Market Protocol for East Africa Community, and that one is the. When I attended the last meeting in Arusha, all the head of the state were there. Even President, His Excellency President King Mayardit was there when he went and hand over the leadership to Ruto, President Ruto. And the issue of tariff was discussed, Common Market Protocol. And President Museveni talked about how community from Mombasa or community from Kenya will move cross to Uganda without being asked with goods that you pay something. So that's the system should come back to Africa, for Africa to be food secure. So what I'm saying here is the East African Common Market Protocol say that if you produce fish in South Sudan, where you produce fish, the government will tax you. When you cross over to Kenya, to Kenya or Uganda, you should not be taxed, even taking it to Congo, because it is locally produced in East Africa community. When Tanzanians are importing their maize to South Sudan, they should not be taxed. In any country, they have to come free. That is what's called free market.
Right.
For local produced items, because it promotes now food security and also businesses of our community. So what I'm saying, this double tax is hurting the traders like the guy. Most of Jonglei young people are doing fish business. When they cross over to Uganda, forget about this roadblock within South Sudan or these agencies. But when they cross over to Uganda, they are taxed, they are denied interest, their fish are confiscated. It's like they are not part of East Africa. So these are the things that need to be, you talk about the way forward and all those things. This should be things that we should look at, how we can promote this non-tariff protocol, where you have the good in your country, let it go free. It should not be taxed.
Barriers.
Yeah, this non-tariff barriers, those one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and also at the same time, you know, the way he's saying, yeah, about the taxes also within, because that is something that you are going to export, and when you are exporting it, what are you bringing in? You are bringing the dollars that is scarce, okay? The dollars that we need in this country, that is what you are going to bring. So we are actually, you know, the government should encourage, you know, export of anything else. So that because the more we export, the more dollars we bring into the country. So in such a situation, you know, we make sure also that since they are bringing the dollars into the country, like what the young man is saying, that, you know, a lot of taxes they are paying from all directions. Now we actually need to lower it, because at the end of the day, it is not only South Sudan that is exporting the fish to Congo. Other countries within the region are also doing the same thing. Tanzania is also, you know, exporting fish to Congo. Uganda exporting fish to Congo. Kenya also at the same time is also, you know, because they are all sharing the Lake Victoria, yeah, also exporting fish to Congo. So how can we be able to make our fish so competitive, okay, within that Congo market? The only way of making it competitive.
And we have the competitive advantage.
Yeah.
It's not just our fish being competitive. Our fish is the organic.
Yeah.
The only organic fish that is being
sold
exported is our fish. In Uganda, they are having these
The ponds. Yeah.
In Kenya, they are having these ponds. Those fish
fish
are
farming,
actually fish farming. We don't do fish farming. So our fish is the best fish that should actually be priced expensive, because our fish is the most natural fish and the most expensive fish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely, you are right.
Thank you.
So,
I think
what we basically need to do is to make sure that we help. The government should help them so that they can be able to export the fish without any problem. Because at the end of the day, they are bringing even the dollars in. And even just like what Stephen is saying, if we take a step ahead and try to market our fish, because this is fresh water fish. Okay, that will be needed even in the Middle East and most of these countries. And if we improve on our airport, you will see Qatar Airways coming all the way from there just to come and take the fish from here and to Qatar straight away, fresh fish. Okay, and even with some fruits and all that, they can come and take this organic, stuff from here. Right.
Right. Yeah. I think we are left with a few minutes, but you already earlier talked about salaries as we discussed.
But before we move to salary, let me say something about because there's also been I think Simon Akwei tried to clear the air yesterday about custom duty, and people are saying the reason goods are expensive is because of the imposition of custom duty, the one you pay in the tax. It's the same thing that we are having problem. America is having a serious problem now. Many of you who follow the business or follow the news, America is in serious crisis today. People are demonstrating because Donald Trump has imposed tariffs on any goods that is entering the United States, even if it is produced by the American, but it's produced outside U.S. He has imposed tariffs. A tariff is another name for tax. It's a tax, but it's another name for custom. Custom duty. Because it is called custom duty because the tax there is a duty, but the custom is because it is levied by the custom custom authorities or custom officers. That's why it is called custom duty. It's just from the basic, because so it is indeed that there's a reason why every country impose custom duty, but our country should also be careful on the type of how the quality, the percentages of custom duty that we are imposing on good, because we are not protecting anything in this country. Even the thing that we use even to do the tomatoes, we are importing them from Uganda. So we are not protecting anybody who is producing tomatoes here. Even Bambel, Katir, Lena, some of them are coming from Uganda. The other day I saw full the groundnuts in big warehouse, and those who were there were Ugandan. So meaning we are importing them from Uganda. So we are not protecting any local producer, so that we impose a high custom duty. Because there are two reasons why you impose tariffs. One is to protect your local business. Second, you impose is because you want to collect what? Revenue for your country and for the government. So also I want to urge the Revenue Authority to be also careful, and the Parliament to be considerate on the percentages that we are imposing. Because I'm happy that Simon Akwei has clarified on a lot of things. He said people have been complaining, those are importing cars, that when you import a car, you are taxed in Uganda and you are taxed in Kenya. Simon said the prescribed tax for imported vehicle is 40%. But currently they are charging 15%.
Which is low.
Which is low. That is not even it's not even half. It's not a half. So that means there's a lot of misinformation outside there to discredit the Revenue Authority, and I'm happy that this Revenue Authority is quite proactive in information sharing, and we want to encourage them also to continue doing a lot of tax education so that people are aware, so that there's no people who are trying to give disinformation to ruin the good work that they are doing. So there's a need for tax education so that we move forward and we're able to raise revenue for our country.
Thank you. We've got few minutes, maybe 2 minutes each. Let's just talk about this good news. We call it good news because it is now the second time that civil servants are getting their salaries. as opposed to the past where they went for 1 year or plus without salaries. You know, Kwaje, you often talked about it's really good when civil servants get their salaries, and you one of those who really stand strongly and ensure that this is done. So you can give us your thoughts. So this is the second time. We can really verify because we have not heard from any single civil servant confirming that they have received the salaries, but this is the official communication.
Yeah. Basically what I can say, you know, that is very, very good. And until we start understanding that, you know, if like the civil servants are getting the money, if they are getting their salaries, where do you expect the money, I mean the salaries to go? The salaries again go back to the market. So now, you know, they already have purchasing power. They have that purchasing power. So the more we empower them, okay, we give them that money, then they go and buy goods. And as they are buying the goods, okay, then the government gets its taxes from that. So then the rate of the turnover, okay, of buying and selling of that good, of the goods now becomes higher, okay. And
power.
And that is actually good for the government, because the more, you know, they have the money, the more they go to, you know, they go to the shops and the other places, then they spend, and once they spend that money, then the government is also getting their percentage, okay. So, you know, the commissioner will soon see some more trucks coming in, then he'll continue to tax them, and life goes on. And, you know, so for me, I strongly believe that, you know, the government is actually doing business with the people. Now, like, if we say the tax is going to be 18%, 20%, or whatever percentage. So if I put 1,000 in, if it is 18%, if I put 1,000 in their pocket, the 180 is not mine. That one goes to the government. So the more I spend it, then the more the government will continue to get. And the more I keep that money, then the government is not going to get that money. So it is only we can make our government richer by, you know, like spending and all that. So I remember one leader, one African leader, he said, look, you know, he moved somewhere, then he saw people, you know, dancing and, you know, enjoying, drinking and the rest. Then he said, then he told the soldiers that, look, that is where your money is coming from. Protect these people. Let them even drink up to morning. Because now, per every bottle of beer that they are taking there, we, as the government, has already taxed. Okay? So if you protect them, then now you are making us actually richer. Okay? But, you know, it is only, yeah, only, you know, only the stubborn ones that wanted to fight, you make sure that you isolate them, but leave the rest to, you know, yeah. So in other words, it is just like, you know, go ahead, continue paying them, and the more we pay them, that is when the more, you know, they will have the purchasing power. And as they are having the purchasing power, they buy things, and the government will continue to collect also more taxes.
Right.
Taxes are right, and not tax. Salary is a right. It's not a privilege. It's not anything. So paying people what is due to the people is the right thing to be done by the government. And that's why some of us are very appreciative of Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bolmel, because you see, a leader is trusted when they follow up on what they have said. So generally, we are working in the media organization. We have a radio station. You can see that even people who are complaining about salary has reduced. And when you pay people, even people who depend on us also go down, because we are also burdened by our own relatives. Because they are not earning, they will come and beg from us because they want something. That's right. So when you pay somebody, the dependent is reduced, and then we all grow. We can support. We can actually channel our money into the right cause, like building a business, doing something that can support the entire family. So let us appreciate the government. Let us encourage the government that they should not stop, but also let us pay our taxes so that the government continue to pay salaries.
Any say, Kong?
Yeah, there's a saying that say hungry stomach is what?
It's an angry person.
Yeah. Yeah, so empty stomach, that's it. So I think we all know that if you look at people benefiting through government, are the majority in South Sudan. Like I can say maybe 80% of people, either through relative or through the work they are doing with the government, because the only source of employment in South Sudan is government. There's no others. The others are few, but the majority are employed by the government. So if the majority get their salary, then we are happy. Like Stephen said, yeah, like the complaint has reduced. The noise now has gone down. So what we want to hear from, to see continuing, to see improving, is for the Vice President, Benjamin Bulman, and his cluster to work hard to make sure that they keep that promise. Because him is like, how do I say, it's like a bridegroom, okay, who is trying to talk sweet a lady, okay, sweet talking, trying to prove himself that he's a gentleman, he's the right man to marry that. What I'm saying is that people will prove him when he will prove him that he's doing right. As this thing continue, the people continue getting their money in the pocket. They will say, "Oh, this is the right guy. This is the guy, the right guy for this job, that economic cluster." Because the previous guy, he was defeated, so there was some challenge. But him now coming in, he's trying his best. So let him keep it that way. Even those in the state, let them continue getting the whatever going to state. We are getting few complaints from people in the state that they go to bank, they don't get the money there. They are told there is no money. So let him address also, if that is true, that the money are not in the bank in those states, let him also try to see a way with his team at the economic cluster to see how the best can these people get their money on time. It is true, really, these people are not getting their money on time, I said on 24th or 26th, like this week. So he should continue pulling up his sock, because there's high expectation from the people, and he should not sleep. He should make sure that he double his effort to make sure that what he's saying, people will believe in. Is this guy, he mean it, what he say. That's what I can put.
Maybe 1 minute each, your message to the viewers. If there is any pending thing that is hanging on your brain, you want to.
Yeah, no, mine is just simple. I think it's a good show that we've been doing for our people. We need to continue with that type of show, and maybe also invite some experts, South Sudanese who are expert in economics, South Sudanese who are expert on health. Any topic that you are willing to share with us, always contact us so that we can have a debate that is constructive, something that is quite educative for our own people, because this is our country. So paying taxes should be a responsibility, because tax is an obligation. So it should be our responsibility to share. But also it is important for people who receive our taxes to be accountable for our taxes, to use the taxes for the right cost, because everything in this country is a priority. Everything in this country is very urgent to be done. We don't have good medicines in the hospital. We don't have good equipment in hospitals. We don't have enough food. We have a lot of instability in the country. So everything in this country is emergency. So when the government receives our taxes, please use them for the benefit of the common person, so that tomorrow you will have a legacy as the leader. Tomorrow you will have a legacy that when books are written, people write about you as one of the leaders who transformed this country, and not one of the leaders who destroyed the country. So let's use the money that we collect for the benefit of this country and for the benefit of the generation that is going to come. Thank you.
Yeah, mine is just about the salary issue. I strongly believe that the salaries to reach some other people, maybe in the villages and other places, will continue to be difficult. So maybe the next thing we need to sit and find out how can we be able to disburse these salaries to the other people who are who are in the villages, who are in the other in the other places, where it
Hard
takes
to reach areas.
yeah it takes longer. Have to for the salary just to reach there. So whether we go digitally, just like when I see the mobile money and the rest, it is just like the mobile money has become because it is just digits. It comes in pop that you have 100,000 in. So these are digits. So I can distribute those digits to you, 25,000 here, something like that. So if we can
don't market other
no,
people here.
It is not marketing because we have to look at the challenge. Okay, me, I'm just trying. I'm just solution oriented. For me, I look at the solution. What is the solution that we can be able to do at the moment? So that becomes part of it. The other part of it is by encouraging maybe the central bank, which is not their mandate, but to make sure that they open up branches all over the country. And if they can be able to open up branches all over the country, then the salaries may be disbursed through these branches that the central bank has opened. Because now the commercial banks are fearing to go to some of these places because they can go there, then they may not be able to make money and all that. But with the central bank, you can take up any government building in that very town. You go to any town, there is a government building there, you have your security, you have everything, you designate that single building, it is already a bank. So you put your staff there and all that, and if the money comes, then also you encourage the people around there that look, there is no need of keeping the money in your in your tukuls and the rest, because if fire catches up, the money will go burned and all that, because very many people lost money maybe through that. So right now we actually don't know how much money do we have, how much liquidity do we have in the country. That's so true. We can be able to do that.
In that surely.
I will just add to, because of the time, just appreciate the economic cluster. I've seen tractors coming. Is it 2 weeks ago they announced that they want to support local farmers? Now we have seen the result. The tractors has come. How they will distribute, they make sure that they put it to place where they are producing enough food. Like, for example, recently when I was in Yambio, I realized that people in Yambio, they don't need food from outside. They are producing their own food. And they are healthy. I did not see a malnourished child. Seriously. I did not see a malnourished child. So I think let them also, as he worked on the salary issue, let also work on the food security. Let that project continues. The few locations in South Sudan that are and still at peace, let them produce food so that also some part of the country is food secure as we continue making sure that there's security all over South Sudan. That's what I can add.
Kongpal Chang, station manager, and businessman James Kwaje, and CEO Stephen Omere. It's been my honor hosting you on this day. Particularly, it's a public holiday, but you've dedicated your time to come and talk and share your thoughts with our viewer. And to you, actually, thank you for having stayed glued for this 1 hour discussion, and we look forward to bringing another topical issue next week on Friday, when we'll also hear from you. And I would love to thank Moses Awan, who has streamed this broadcast live. So let's meet once again. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Welcome to Around South Sudan. You go to podcast for the stories that shape our nation. Each week we explore the most impactful headlines that are shaping the narrative in South Sudan. We delve into issues related to national development, peace building, politics, culture and economics. To stay informed and engaged, tune into Around South Sudan and be part of the conversation that matters. Subscribe now and join us for the stories that connect us all. Together, let's explore the